Well, stay ahead on NBC 5 News at 8. A van crashes into the side of a building and the driver flees, leaving 2 children inside the wrecked vehicle.
And the actor who played Kramer on Seinfeld taking to the airwaves this morning, going on Jesse Jackson's radio show to seek redemption for his racist rant.
And can you believe this weather? Ginger says it's not going to be around much longer, though, so take advantage of it. We're going to have your full Weather Plus forecast.
And we've got some fun holiday crafts right here in Studio 5.
And tips to make it through the holidays with your relationship still intact.
Yes, the NBC 5 News today at 8 a.m. starts right now. Stay with us.
Live from Studio 5 on Michigan Avenue, this is NBC 5 News today at 8 a.m.
His racial slurs heard around the internet. Now Seinfeld actor Michael Richards turning to Jesse Jackson's radio show to seek forgiveness. It is Sunday, November 26th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim Bottas.
Good morning to you. I'm Anita Padilla. We're going to go to that story in just a moment, but we got to check out the weather forecast for today because apparently it's going to change on us.
Yeah, not in the next 2 or 3 days, but after that, once we get to the midweek and beyond, you are going to be wishing that it was so mild and so nice. We have had such a great holiday weekend. Travel looking good as far as weather goes. I can't promise you any traffic forecast. I'm sure it's going to be very busy out there, but I can promise you if you leave right now, you might run into some fog. Waukegan High School, the dew point and temp are the same. They're the visibilities, the updated ones there along and north on the lakefront, the worst spots as far as fog. Today, though, we will break that fog up after 9 a.m. The fog advisory ends. We'll hit 59 as kind of an average high. Some spots a little lower, others maybe even a little higher. We start to cool off toward the end of the work week, and I'm talking highs only in the 30s, so you'll have to stick around and see that Weather Plus 5 day.
Ooh, okay. Thank you, Ginger.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Thank you.
Well, actor Michael Richards is taking his apologies public after a racist rant at a comedy club.
He is speaking to the Reverend Jesse Jackson on his radio show this morning. Let's go live now to NBC5's Carla Ebo at Operation Push. Good morning, Carla.
Well, good morning. We have been listening to that radio program all morning, and it started about an hour ago. Right now, Kramer, Michael Richards, who played Kramer on Seinfeld, is still taking questions from Jesse Jackson and from callers. Now, you may remember this all started last week when Michael Richards was performing in West Hollywood's Laugh Factory. Some black people in the audience heckled him, and Richards responded by spewing racial slurs at them from the stage. Now, today on the radio program, Richards said he has never used the N-word against blacks in the past. Here is some of his explanation on Keep Hope Alive Radio.
There's no justification for the things that I said, but I was in show mode, and it was heightened, and at times I tried to turn it around, and I used the words I said in my act. The words, what's underneath the words, in a plea to get to the face rather than get so caught up with the names. I fear that young whites will think it's cool to go around and use that word because they see very cool people in show business using that word so freely.
Now, Kim and Anita, Richards is now undergoing psychological treatment for his anger, and he said he is trying to contact those black audience members to apologize to them directly. Outside Operation Push headquarters, I'm Carla Ebo, NBC 5 News.
Okay,
Right.
Carla.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. Well, in Chicago this morning,
A driver, Anita, crashing into a building and running away, leaving 2 young children in the car to fend for themselves. It happened at 55th Street in California around 1 o'clock this morning. 2 bystanders pulling the children out of the vehicle to safety.
Me and my friend right here, we went into the car. He went into the back seat and unbuckled a little child. She was at least 12 months old. She was all bloody. He unbuckled her from the car seat because she wasn't able to get out. He handed her over to me, and I ran across the street, dropped her off, and then I ran back, and he gave me another child, which we didn't know that was in the car.
The children now in good condition at Holy Cross, and police have apprehended that suspect. They say he did break his leg trying to get away, didn't get too far. He is in good condition. No word on charges. Chicago police still don't have an answer this morning on what may have happened to a missing student from Missouri. 20-year-old Jesse Ross was last seen on Tuesday at the Sheridan Hotel on North Water Street. NBC5's Alex Perez has more details now about this man's mysterious disappearance.
20-year-old Jesse Ross was only supposed to be in Chicago for a couple of days. Ross, a student at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, was in town for a Model United Nations Student Conference, which is being held at the Sheraton on North Water Street. Ross and his group were staying at the Four Point Sheraton on Rush Street in his hometown of Belton, Missouri, to his parents, hoping for the best.
That's my baby out there, maybe in the dark at 4 in the morning by himself.
Our hopes are that there were other people and there was somebody there, and they'll be able to say, yes, okay, I saw this and him.
This surveillance picture captured Ross as he left the Four Point Hotel at about 12:45 Tuesday. Witnesses last saw him at about 2 a.m. Tuesday at the Sheraton on North Water Street, where police say he was attending a party. Authorities have searched the Chicago River and the area surrounding the Sheraton, but no sign of the missing student.
We're having a somewhat difficult time interviewing people because it involves students from out-of-state universities.
Alex Perez, NBC 5 News.
And now on to Rogers Park, where residents and business owners along Devon Avenue are still recovering from the shock of a fire that left 15 area stores and restaurants closed. This fire started in the back of the two-story building at 2517 West Devon early Thanksgiving morning, and then it quickly spread to businesses on both sides. 11 apartments were destroyed, and most of Devon Avenue between Campbell and Maplewood was also damaged by the blaze.
They lost a lot of business because Thanksgiving is the busiest weekend in this street, because everybody's families, they're coming in this street, and so Devon Street is a major street, for Indian Pakistani community.
The whole block was closed on that day, and yesterday also for a few, I guess half an hour. So the business is really, messed up.
Fortunately, though, no one was injured in the blaze, and authorities still don't know the cause, though.
Well, those numbers are in from Black Friday, and holiday gift spending is up about 6% over last year. Estimates show that U.S. shoppers spent nearly $9 billion. The numbers are crucial for the retail industry, which counts on holiday shoppers for up to 40% of its annual sales. Some retail analysts credit advertising for that boost.
We saw more quantity of product advertised, the use of circulars, television, and all kinds of media.
Not everyone, though, did as well. Walmart did not meet expectations Friday, but middle-of-the-road stores like JCPenney and Kohl's reported exceptional sales. So far, the hottest selling items include flat-screen TVs, digital cameras, and MP3 players.
Now, on Monday night at 10, you can find out what's on our holiday hot list.
This toy's awesome.
I've never heard of anything like this.
Anna Devlantis found some unusual gifts and then asked viewers to check them out and rate them for us. Check out the holiday hot list. That's Monday night at 10 o'clock. All right, it's 8:07 right now. Coming up on NBC 5, advice to keep your relationships cool during the stress of the holidays.
And you don't have to be Martha Stewart to spruce up your home with a few little twigs. We're going to get into the holiday spirit by making wreaths coming up next. A very nice Sunday morning out there. Get ready to start shopping again and move over Martha Stewart. We are making wreaths in Studio 5 today. Tim Pollock is here from the Chicago Botanic Garden to show us how. Apparently it's a lot easier than it may appear, no?
It certainly is, Kim.
I know you're going to make it easy for us, too. I can tell that about you.
Definitely.
I know. Now, look, there's a great wreath below. Why don't we take a shot of that real quick? And you're saying we can very easily make this with just a few items that you buy at a store?
You can take a lot of the stuff you might already have at home. A lot of plant material you have at home. You have evergreens and berry trees that you can use. But you can also go to your local garden center.
Okay, how do we get started?
So
I need some
kind
stuff
of wreath making 101. Some of the stuff that you're going to need here are some floral picks. And they come in different sizes, and we'll show you what those are for. Definitely need some spool wire, floral wire. That's very handy. You might need a glue gun, especially if you're doing some kind of crafting with ribbon and so forth. Here's some other wire. And then I like to use some sort of decorative seasonal floral picks, like birds and
whatever you
and
like.
So forth. But as far as some of the greens, there's lots of kinds out there. And this is just like Scotch pine. This came from my yard. You can use Douglas fir, and this is like off the bottom of a Christmas tree.
Does it matter? Whatever you like.
Whatever you like. There's
None
all
works
kinds
better
of
than
stuff.
the other.
And then there's even really kind of, if you can get some things with some cones, because that adds interest in itself. These are some cedar, really nice decorative cones, and this is the winterberry, kind of like in the holly. You're also going to need a wreath form, okay? And this is a 24-inch wreath form. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys how to get started. Let's move this out of the
now
way.
I'm looking here, and really, you obviously make it look easy, but you're saying anyone can do this.
Oh yeah, this is really not that hard of a
I'll hold it for
practice. You got it?
Uh-huh.
All right, what I did was ahead of time is you make little bunches about 6 to 8 inches with anywhere from 3 to 5 stems of cut greens. And I happen to mix up 3 different types here. There's hemlock.
Give it some interest.
And some spruce, and then the winter, again, the juniper berry, which is really nice interest. So what we're going to do is take some of these bunches here, and you see I have the spool wire already on there. And as you lay that on there, you just keep covering those up, and you wrap that nice and tight right to that form, right on there, like that. And you just keep going all the way around until you've got a complete wreath. And as you go, you want to kind of shape it and make it.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not that hard. It's not a hard practice at all.
Now, you could use it, I guess, with the bottom of your Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these greens, again, from your Christmas trees or from your plants in your yard.
Now, what do you do when this will last about how long do you think?
Inside the house, it'll last only about 2 to 3 weeks, depends on how dry your house is. But outside, it'll last a lot longer because it's cooler.
And then the embellishments you would just put on like any other wreath if you bought it at the store, put it on there.
To your left here, we have some of these ones, again, that I've already made up.
Sure.
And these are ones with that pick that I was talking about that you would just stick into that wire, find it, and then that kind of just adds another little touch to it. Right there, and you just go along. I like to use odd numbers because it, keeps it nice and informal look.
And it's relatively about the same price, a little cheaper, but a lot more fun, I guess.
It's a lot more fun. This is great fun for the family and the kids to get involved, and really, you can say that you did it instead of going out to the store and buying it.
Look better on our house too, right?
Definitely.
Of course, if you want some tips on how to make your own wreath, you can check it out at the Chicago Botanic Garden. Go onto our website, and we'll have links to all the different events going on there this winter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Tim.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, I think we can handle this, Anita. What do you think?
Yeah, nice job. Very nice. 8:14 right now. We're just getting started here on NBC 5. Still to come this morning, the cool new wave in vacations. How about you? Would you head out for a trip to an iceberg? Well, we're going to hear about that one. NBC 5 is back after a quick break.
53-degree weather on Michigan Avenue this morning. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday. Here's a quick look now at this morning's headlines.
Well, it appears that a ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants in Gaza may have been violated even before it took effect. A rocket launched by Palestinian militants from the northern Gaza Strip landed on a house in southern Israel just before the ceasefire took hold today. The rocket caused extensive damage, but there are no reports of any injuries.
President Bush heading to the Middle East this week. He plans to meet with Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki in Jordan. The White House does not expect Maliki to cancel the meeting, despite several threats from the Sunni and Shiite leaders.
And this is the latest tourist sensation in New Zealand. Yeah, floating icebergs. 2 helicopter companies are making as many as 6 trips a day to the huge chunks of ice. Icebergs normally melt on their way from the Antarctic, but some of them have been preserved because of the unusually cold weather in the area.
Looks cool, actually.
It does look cool.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I guess we're not going to get any ice around here. Not today, anyway.
Not today, but we do have cold weather on the way, so it'll feel a lot more like it should this time in November. We've had a great holiday, and travel should be decent today as well. Maybe not traffic, but certainly the weather forecast. Looking there in the city, along Michigan Avenue, we're taking a look at a little bit of sunshine here in the city, but a lot of spots waking up to either hazy sunshine or a mostly cloudy day. Why? Well, we've got a lot of moisture starting to settle in, and right now visibilities are reduced, so if you are planning on driving this morning, especially north or northwest, that is something to keep in mind. Maybe wait, because the fog advisory lifts after 9 a.m., then we'll really start to thin out those clouds and definitely the fog. Now, that's not to say we don't see some clouds through the forecast, though. A mostly cloudy day today will inhibit sunshine and therefore temperatures a little bit. But looking at the almanac from yesterday, we hit 58 as a high. That puts us above average for the 6th day in a row, and I guarantee you today will be above average. Actually, temperatures right now as you're heading out the door are already above normal. for highs this time of year, and it's only 8:18, right? We're 44 in Aurora right now, 47 at this hour at O'Hare, 50 Midway. So a balmy start to our day here on this Sunday as we wrap up our holiday weekend and head into the work week. What is to come? Well, we see more clouds, more moisture starting to spill in, kind of a south to southwesterly flow will take over, and the Stormcast is going to show you what to expect in the next 48 hours. Chance of rain overnight tonight, not great, but definitely to the north and west of the city. Then the front starts to sink south and we get these little waves that will pulse through in the beginning of our work week, making it a wet start. Not today though, we stay dry, mostly cloudy, high right around 59, then tonight down to 48. That chance of rain again best north and west of the city. The Weather Plus 5-day forecast, better chance of rain Monday into Tuesday, a windy day Tuesday, a stormy day Wednesday. Things drop dramatically and temperatures by about 25 degrees. So get ready. The colder weather, I think the coldest air of the season comes early Friday morning.
Ooh, oh, wow.
Okay.
But our busiest travel day today is pretty good.
Looking good.
All right. Thanks, Ginger.
Thank you. All right, let's get a check on the roadways. Arian DeSanto is live with our traffic edge this morning. Good morning.
Good morning again. Well, it looks like everyone is enjoying their morning with their families and friends before hitting the roads for shopping and travel because there are limited delays right now. If you are traveling on the Dan Ryan this morning, you will see it's slow just a little bit around 83rd, but other than that, all toll and expressways are moving along nicely. And now time for another holiday driving tip. Cut out the distractions. Watch your cell phone use. And if you are within Chicago city limits, make sure to use that hands-free device. If you have kids, consider supplying them with distractions so they don't distract you. Try the old-fashioned games like car bingo, sing-along CDs, activity books, and my family's favorite, the quiet game. Make it a low-tech trip to encourage interaction with the family and make it a memory. Back to you guys.
What is the quiet game?
Whoever talks first loses.
That's a good one to keep the kids quiet.
Yep.
We're all alive today with what we did to my poor parents.
Worked with my family.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Arian.
8:20 right now.
Still to come on NBC 5 this morning, how to make it through the holidays with your relationship intact.
It is one of the most stressful times of the year, but we've got an expert who's going to help us find smooth sailing all the way to January. Stay with us. All right, welcome back this Sunday morning. We're here to help you keep your holiday nice and cool, and we're going to help you survive the stressful times this year without damaging your relationships. Dr. Paul Dobransky is here with us this morning, and you're a relationship expert. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So talk to us about what it is about this time of year where people even start to stress out before they even get to these holiday parties.
Well, I think in Chicago, part of it is the approaching cold. And, you know, people
we're
are
forced
looking
indoors
at
to
being
deal with
indoors
people.
a lot, and all we have is each other when we're indoors, as well as the concept that our lives are like stories, and holidays are sort of like guideposts in a story. It's almost like plot points.
Yes.
So they're very memorable scenes in our lives.
So how do we deal with the people that are a little difficult?
Well, there's two crucial skills.
Everybody else is difficult. I'm not difficult. They're difficult. Right? Isn't that the way it is?
Right. There's actually two very crucial skills in psychology that can help people navigate nearly any kind of conflict or difficult time.
Oh, say, what do you do?
Well, one is called observing ego, and that's the same thing.
Your own ego or their ego?
No, what it literally means is stepping outside yourself and looking back and asking questions and maybe commenting on how am I doing? What do I need in my life right now? Do I really need to participate in this fight, or can I just sort of let it go? It's like being the narrator of your own life.
Okay.
There was a very interesting, I thought, film that recently came out
Which
called
one?
Stranger Than Fiction. And I think it's pretty remarkable because it shows a man with who's a creature of habit, and he has a very boring life, and he's reactive. Things happen to him rather than him being at the steering wheel of his life.
Right.
So this narrator starts speaking to him, and it's because of that external view of his relationships and activities that he first gets the ability to do something new in his life.
That's interesting. All right, and you also mentioned setting personal boundaries.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Personal
what
boundaries.
you will put up with, what you won't put up with?
It's sort of more about what you control versus what you don't control in life.
Knowing the difference, too.
Knowing the difference, yes. It's like an invisible circle around each one of us, and it marks what we control from what we don't. And we never absolutely control other people. So we need to learn to let go of trying to control people or too easily letting them get under our skin. When they say somebody really gets under your skin,
right,
they mean they're getting through your personal boundary.
Okay, well, let's ask this question, because a lot of people out there are probably in relationships and they're like, I want to break up with this person, but let's do it after the holidays. Let's hold out. Let's not ruin the holidays.
Right,
Is that a good idea to do that?
Everybody's going to be different as far as the story of how their life is going, of course, but there's no reason to delay a breakup just because of a holiday if you know that it's not right and it's not going to work. And likewise, there's no reason to ignore those you cherish just because the holiday can be so chaotic and hectic.
Yeah, get rid of that baggage before the new year, right?
Right.
All right, thank you so much,
Okay.
Dr. Paul
Thank
Dobransky. Well, I hope we helped out a lot of people. Anyway, get ready for the holidays. Kim, back to you.
My lips are sealed. I'll just go with the flow. Hey, ahead in our next half hour here in NBC Chicago, the actor who played Kramer on Seinfeld apologizes to Jesse Jackson on his radio show. But is anyone listening to his story? And how healthy is your child's school? We're going to show you the website that has the answers. But first, let's take a live look outside. A quick weather forecast when we come back with Ginger. And also, here's a look at one of our iPass cameras here at I-88 in Aurora. If you want tollway traffic email alerts, just log on to NBC5.com and click on traffic. We're going to be back.
Welcome back. 53 degrees. A look at the Chicago River this morning as it pans out over the NBC 5 Plaza.
Pretty good travel day today, too, for the busy holiday weekend. 8:29 now. Actor Michael Richards reaching out to the Reverend Jesse Jackson, seeking forgiveness for his use of a racial slur at that comedy club. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday. I'm Kim Faudis.
Good morning to you. I'm Anita Padilla. More on that story in just a moment. But let's check in with Ginger Z right now because the weather is looking pretty good right now. Is that going to change?
It is, but travel weather today, mild, and then as we go through the rest of the week, it should be okay, a little rainy to start. Then, after Wednesday, things dramatically change. But first, I want to look at the pinpoint radar because the Bears are playing out east. They are going to have a gorgeous forecast. Here at home, or if you're flying east maybe, or traveling around here, shouldn't be too bad. Mild conditions, but some fog this morning as we take a look from one of our Weather Plus sites. The dew point and temperature almost everywhere are the same, but it's not raining, so all the moisture is at the ground. The visibilities are reduced to less than half a mile in some spots, so something to keep in mind as you're headed out early this morning. Once the fog burns off or kind of leaves us, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies, a mild day. Temps still warm, and it will stay that way again through Wednesday, but then temperatures drop off. We see rain, snow, a little bit of everything. I'll have that coming up.
All right, thanks, Ginger.
Say bye to mild weather. Thanks.
Our top story this morning, actor Michael Richards took to the airwaves this morning, calling into Reverend Jesse Jackson's radio show.
Right. He is seeking forgiveness after that racial tirade at a comedy club. NBC5's Carla Ebo now live at Operation Push with more on the story and this apology. Carla, is it working?
Well, we have to wait and see. He continues to apologize. We've seen him give several explanations for why he said this on the radio show. Take a look at video of Richards last week on stage at the Laugh Factory in West Hollywood. He called some black audience members the N-word and said other insulting things after those audience members heckled him. Now, Richards has apologized several times since then. Here is some of his explanation on Jesse Jackson's Keep Hope Alive radio show.
I was brought up in a black neighborhood till I was 11 years old. My best friends were African Americans. I fought, but it was just not because of color, but just because, you know, we're hassling each other.
People that you are around, like on the sets, do they frequent the use of the word?
No. In the comedy club, I've heard it usually said by African American comedians in the clubs, firemen. It's all there. Yeah.
Now, since last week, Richards has hired a high-profile publicist, and he is now undergoing psychological treatment for anger. Reporting live outside Operation Push headquarters, I'm Carla Ebo, NBC 5 News.
All right, thank you, Carla.
Thank you, Carla. In other news this morning, police still investigating the shooting of 8 people in a south suburban night spot a little more than 24 hours ago. 8 people in all were shot by a masked gunman. Police say that shooter walked into the Waterfront Tavern in Burnham and just opened fire, apparently hitting people at random. There were about 30 people inside at the time.
People are shot everywhere, in the groins, the back, the legs. It was a massacre. We had no idea what was happening.
The injuries are said to be non-life-threatening.
And here in the city, Chicago police are looking for the 3 masked men who held up a downtown hotel. It happened early Saturday morning at the Marriott Courtyard at 30 West Hubbard Street. Investigators say the men walked into the hotel wearing ski masks and stole an undisclosed amount of cash from the night manager. Well, the state has launched a new website that should help parents, teachers, and students learn more about the health and safety of Illinois schools. Now, the site is called Healthy Schools for Healthy Learning. There's lots of information about it too. Topics like chemical storage, indoor environmental quality, and pest management. Governor Blagojevich says the site has checklists that students can use to evaluate their school's environment. It also has quizzes and reports on the school's environmental quality. If you'd like to see the site, you can check it out on the As Seen on NBC5 section of our website, NBC5.com.
Hey, the retail store is reporting a pretty good start to the shopping season with a big bump from Black Friday. Hear what the holiday sales mean to Chicago businesses. That is going to be coming up this morning on City Desk with Marian Ahern at 9:15 right here on NBC5.
If you're planning on driving anywhere today, you might want to be prepared to sit in traffic. It is one of the busiest travel days of the year. All of those travelers returning from their Thanksgiving holidays are expected to jam the tollways again. This year's holiday traffic was unusually high, resulting in some very long backups at the cash-only lanes. This, of course, was the first Thanksgiving for which all toll plazas were equipped with I-Pass-only lanes. Also, if you're headed to O'Hare, all westbound traffic on I-90 from the airport is being rerouted to help ease the congestion.
The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Mackinac leaving northern Michigan today with a shipment of 1,100 Christmas trees set to arrive in Chicago by December 2nd. Now, the majority of the trees go to Chicago's needy. The tradition starting in the early 1900s when pine trees were first cut and shipped to Chicago families.
It's 8:35 right now. A lot of people coughing in the newsroom and all over the place, right?
Everyone's sick. It seems that way, huh?
Yeah, so how do you know if that cough could actually be something that you should be a little more concerned about?
Well, up next, Dr. Marianne Malloy going to tell us the things we should watch for as seasonal sicknesses strike.
It is time now for Living Well on this Sunday morning.
Dr. Marianne Malloy here this morning with some sicknesses that I guess so many people get during this time as the weather gets cooler. And I was on a plane last night, everyone was sneezing and coughing, and I was just praying, please, I don't want to get sick.
Absolutely. And who would think in this year we would be talking about, is it a cough or is it a whoop? But this is the news across the country. Whooping cough is making a comeback. This is the season when everyone seems to be coughing. Some of my patients report that their cough goes on for months. Now, whooping cough is known as the 100-day cough. It's been shown now to be increasing and needs to be considered if your cough persists. Now, there's been an outbreak of whooping cough this fall at New Trier High School right here in Winnetka. This has been big news across the nation. Let's take a look at whooping cough, medically known as pertussis, in adults. Now, what are the symptoms of whooping cough? So how would you know it instead of a regular cough? Whooping cough starts out as a cold. Then it becomes a cough marked by repeating bouts of coughing, 10 to 20 coughs in a row, and there might be a whoop at the end because that's when you're trying to get a breath. Now, a low-grade fever may be present. Now, adults can have mild symptoms. They may just have a persistent cough. Now, how do you catch whooping cough? The bacteria travels through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. So just like a cold, you catch it. Now, how do you diagnose whooping cough? How do you tell if it's just a cough, bronchitis, or is it whooping cough? The characteristic cough is the first clue. A really hard cough that doesn't quit. A nose or a throat culture is what really makes the diagnosis. Now, is there a treatment for whooping cough? Antibiotics given in the early time, like in the erythromycin family of antibiotics, can shorten the course. Now, here's the important part. How do you prevent it? For children, they have to complete their series of vaccinations. This is mandatory. Now, also, but we found that immunity decreases by adolescence, even if your child had all their shots. Now, a booster is needed about age 12. Now it's recommended. Now, for adults to keep their immunity up, every 10 years, they have to get a booster shot of this. This is strongly recommended for adults that work with infants because it's adults that transmit it to the infants and for those who might be exposed to whooping cough. What's very interesting about whooping cough as opposed to other diseases, even if you've had it, you don't have immunity. Now, if we talk about coughs in general, whooping cough, any cough, as we hear people cough, there's been some new research about what is the best treatment. Steam. Mother was right. Steam is one of the best things. Next thing, hot liquids like the tea that I've got up here. Things like chicken soup, it really does work. It thins out the mucus. And canned chicken soup is as good as the homemade. The original research was on a recipe that took 5 hours to make. They did some follow-up research, the kind I like, which said that chicken soup out of the can did as well. Something that you can have, cough drops, particularly those with honey worked. Some herbal remedies work. And then medications that have the D in them, the decongestant, an antihistamine or better, an antihistamine with D in it, like Sudafed over the counter. That's one commercial that's right. This is the prescription one with D in it, the Clarinex D. So you look for something with D. The real important news, the cough medicines over the counter in the bottle did not work as well as these. So I think it's very interesting, and this has been endorsed by numerous associations that these were better than the cough medicine. That's the first thing to try, particularly something like the Sudafed.
With the D.
You mentioned the mucus, thinning out the mucus. There's this new product on the, well, I've just seen it recently, Mucinex or
Mucinex, that is the same thing.
Is that good?
Mucinex thins out the mucus, and you can get Mucinex D, which really does the whole job. Yes, something that thins out the mucus. I would try the fluids first, try the cough drops, the chicken soup, then get the medicine, and you know, it says that they all do a better job than the cough medicine.
That's just amazing. Good old Campbell's, huh?
I think it's very interesting, and yeah, it all comes back to the old thing. Mother was right. It all works well.
Thanks,
Mom.
Okay, thank you.
If you'd like to read Dr. Malloy's blog or ask her a question, just go to NBC5.com/health. And don't forget to pick up your soup today.
Yeah, that's right.
8:42 now.
Let's take a live look outside this morning. It is 54 degrees out there. If you have plans to do some holiday shopping, this would be the good day to do it. Ginger C says our weather is going to be changing by the middle of the week. So we're going to have your weather outlook for your work week. It's next.
Plus a big weekend in sports.
A couple of Chicago area high school football teams are bringing state championships back home. We'll tell you who next in sports. Plus, find out if the Illini were able to slam dunk the Bradley Braves as they christen the brand new Sears Center out in Hoffman Estates.
Illinois with a dozen last night.
Last night, Bradley had a chance to prove it's the best basketball school in the state. And for most of the game at the brand spanking new Sears Center, they looked like it. But in the end, Illinois let the Braves know who's boss. Let's go to Hoffman Estates. I think those are the two Bradley fans who keep emailing me. Here you go, some Bradley highlights. Jeremy Crouch shooting the lights out at the Sears Center. That tray puts Bradley up 9 in the first half. They led most of the way, but the Illini get their gunner back. Jamar Smith was out with that high ankle sprain. He gives Illinois their first lead in the second half. He had 14 points. Then the Orange Crush getting all the bounces. Calvin Brock from his knees tips in Chester Frazier's missed three-pointer. Illinois hands Bradley its first loss, and they stay perfect at 7-0 with a 75-71 win over Bradley. They got Maryland Tuesday in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. It was only a matter of time before Scott Skiles just snapped. But the Bulls were up 20 at Madison Square Garden when the coach got tossed after getting a couple of tees. No problem, maybe it fired his boys up. Luol Deng continues to be outstanding. He had 24 points, and this one should have been a blowout, but the Bulls let the Knicks back in it. David Lee to our old friend Eddie Curry. It's a 5-point game with 1:46 left, but the Bulls hit their free throws. Even the big fella, Ben Wallace.
How about that?
Hey, no goose eggs tonight. 5 points and 7 boards. Every little bit counts. The Bulls snapped their 6-game losing streak and end that road trip on a positive note, 106-95 over the Knicks. They'll host the same New York team Tuesday at the UC. High school football in Champaign, prep powerhouses Mount Carmel and Wheaton Warrenville South colliding in the 8A title game. The Caravan rolling on its opening drive. Carter Kopak calling his own number, 7-0 Mount Carmel. But the Tigers bite back in a big way. With 31 unanswered points in the first half, Joe Pena, 54-yard touchdown. A lot of big plays for the team in black as Wheaton rolls Mount Carmel 44-21 to win the 5th state championship in school history, but their first since '98. They finished the season a perfect 14-0. Last night in the 7A state championship, St. Rita against Lake Zurich, Darion Hood running like a Mustang. 93-yard kickoff return for a score. St. Rita gets their first championship since '78, 35-21 over Lake Zurich. And also Batavia, they lost to Normal in the 6A final, 30-20, so they fall short in their effort to bring home a state championship as well. Of course, join me later this morning for Bears Game Day Live coming up at 10:30. The Bears at New England trying to beat the Patriots and have a 3-game sweep on that road trip and improve to 10-1. We'll see you at 10:30.
And Notre Dame went down in flames yesterday. USC smoking the Irish 44-24. The Trojans should leapfrog Michigan to second place in the BCS standings.
All right, let's head outdoors right now and check in with Ginger Z. How's it going out there, Ginger? Is it really cold? Oh, you have your jacket off. And apparently her microphone too.
Okay, maybe not a jacket off type of morning, but I came out here thinking it's mild, it's 50-some degrees. Well, the wind is pretty breezy. Temperature is going to feel cooler than it actually is, especially if you're along the lakefront. That's not the case, though, as we head toward the end of the week. I'll show you the Weather Plus 5 day that gets a lot colder in a couple of minutes, but first, we're looking at the plaza where some sunshine peeking through, some hazy sunshine here this morning. Visibility also a problem if you are driving north and west, but really a pretty decent travel day for those of us who are having family or friends headed home or headed back here. Current temperatures are in the mid and upper 40s, if not 50 degrees. Like I said, though, you add that breeze from the south-southwest, and it's going to feel a lot cooler than it actually is. Radar and satellite put together now. Clouds on the increase where the south to southwesterly flow is going to increase the moisture. We get a chance of rain overnight tonight into early tomorrow. The Stormcast showing you who gets what when and why. We've got a stationary front that's going to try to sink our way. See, that's tonight at 6. Then as the clouds and the rain start to fill in, we'll start to see a better chance of rain Monday into Tuesday morning. So keep that in mind. Kind of a rainy start to the work week, but still mild. Today, we should stay dry through a majority of the day, partly to mostly cloudy skies, hazy, mild tonight, mild again, 48. That temperature is higher than our average our normal high for the days in this time of November. But look at this, the Weather Plus 5-day forecast. Of course, we're going to make up for it. Temperatures 61 on Tuesday, windy, then thunderstorms overnight into Wednesday, rain mixing with snow into early Thursday. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at these extended computer models, and by early Friday morning, by far the coldest air of the season. You tack on some northwesterly winds by Friday morning, I think wind chills in the single digits. Merry Christmas, right? Let's send it back into you guys. We're a little cool out here on the plaza.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and welcome to Chicago weather, right?
Yeah, welcome to winter, but later this week, right?
Yep.
Coming up next on NBC 5, do you have trouble with directions? Oh, no. Always getting lost? Never.
I don't think women have a problem with asking for directions, but apparently men do. I don't know what's up with that. Well, there's an easy way to find out where you need to go. It's next on the Weekend Web. Stay with us. Welcome back in this morning's Weekend Web, an easy way to get you where you need to go. Here now is NBC 5's Art Norman and Charlie Wojciechowski with more.
Good morning. We're talking cars this morning, in particular GPS systems. It's something we're all familiar with, an option on cars like this Cadillac STS. the big old Hummer here, even SUVs like the Cadillac Escalade. But did you know that even if you don't have a traditional screen-based GPS system, you can still take advantage of turn-by-turn navigation? That is, if you have OnStar installed in your car. Art's wondered about that too, and he's going to take a ride, aren't you?
Absolutely. We're going to show you how to do it without the regular GPS system. That's coming up right now. We're going to meet the lady in charge. And this is Christina Adamski with the OnStar Division. Thanks a lot for being here in Chicago.
Thank you for having me, Art.
You're from Detroit, right?
I am from Detroit area.
Well, welcome. Eat some pizza while you're here.
I will. Thanks a lot.
Now, tell me about this OnStar turn by turn.
Well, it's actually the simplest and smartest system out there for navigation. Really, you don't need to have a screen or a handheld product. It's actually integrated into your OnStar system. All you do is you press your blue button, just like that, and it's going to connect with the OnStar advisor.
Oh, this is cool.
Hi, Laura. It's Christina and Art. Can you give us directions to Navy Pier in Chicago?
And as she gets these directions, it'll be downloaded to this car?
Right, exactly. They actually download them. It's through a wireless network. It downloads the data to the vehicle, and then she drops off the call. So we don't have to interact with the OnStar advisor anymore. And then you just start driving, and it simply tells you voice-guided where you need to go.
Turn right onto Illinois Street.
So if you go into a tunnel, oftentimes that's when you lose your satellite signal.
Absolutely, yes.
But with this system, it actually knows where you're going because it's integrated with your ABS modules.
Continue ahead to stay on Illinois Street in a quarter mile.
Suppose I make a wrong turn.
If you make a wrong turn, the system follows you, tracks you. It'll come on and prompt and say, you've left the planned route. Do you need directions to get back on your route?
Like this car does not have a regular GPS navigation system.
You don't need that. All you need is your new OnStar system in model year 07 vehicles, model year 07, 08, and moving forward. And as long as you have that, and then there's a package that comes. It comes in free for the first year on all Buicks and nearly all Cadillacs, and then you can do a $100 upgrade to vehicles like Chevy, Saturns, Hummers, whatnot. It's a $100 upgrade.
Turn right onto Grand Avenue, then you will arrive at 600 East Grand Avenue on the right.
It's pretty affordable considering that most navigation systems are like a $2,000 option in your vehicle.
More information is available about this kind of technology on the World Wide Web. Your address is?
www.onstar.com.
All right, Charlie, back to you.
Of course, if you can't remember that, one simple thing to remember, NBC5.com. We'll post links on that site for you all to take a look at. For our guest and for Art Norman, I'm Charlie Wojciechowski. We'll see you right here next weekend.
All right, thanks, guys. If you're going online for your holiday shopping, we've got some advice for you.
Yeah, some directions. Never, ever go to a shopping site by clicking on a link in an email. Even emails that look legitimate could be fraudulent.
And before you submit your credit card information, make sure that the transaction is encrypted. Look for the padlock image in the lower right-hand corner of your browser.
And avoid doing your online shopping on a public computer. It makes it easier for thieves to just steal your information.
And then watch out for those pop-ups. If the ad asks you to click OK to get rid of it, it could actually install viruses or other unauthorized software.
And check out any online stores before you buy. Make sure it's a reputable retailer that you can trust before handing over your very personal financial information. Good advice. I wouldn't have thought about the clicking on a link. You didn't have an email.
Yes, 8:57 right now.
A new edition of NBC 5 News coming up next at 9 a.m. Thousands packing the Loop Thursday to see the parade and windows. What does that mean for businesses in Chicago now?
That's today's discussion on City Desk. The NBC 5 News at 9 begins after this break.
You're watching NBC 5 News, Sunday morning.
Our top stories this morning, a van crashing into a building and the driver runs off, leaving two small children left in the vehicle.
Plus, a man is shot down by New York police on his wedding day. We're going to tell you about the resulting tension in the Big Apple.
Also, comedian Michael Richards seeking forgiveness for his racial outburst. Will an appearance on Jesse Jackson's radio show this morning put an end to that controversy?
Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome back. I'm Anita Padilla.
And I'm Kim Vades. Thanks for being with us on this long holiday weekend. We're going to get to all our top stories in just a moment. But first, on this busy travel day, let's check our weather with Ginger Z. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Good travel weather. We've been so lucky over this holiday and very mild. It will continue to be that way, staying dry through most of today. But then things really changed. We start, though, this morning with one of our Weather Plus sites, Naperville Central High School, where the temperature is 51. The dew point also 51. Out there, see the wind is calm. calm. Not so downtown here. So temperatures might feel just a little bit cooler than they actually are. Visibility an issue if you are driving north and west, down to a mile in some spots. Today we make it up to around 60, or at least close to it, with hazy to partly mostly cloudy skies depending on where you're at. More clouds north and west of the city, maybe more sunshine south and east. Now temperatures, like I said, drop off. You guys stay with us because I'll have a full 5-day coming up in a couple of minutes.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ginger.
Thanks, Ginger. Now we do go to our top story this morning. Actor Michael Richards taking his apologies public on the airwaves after a racist rant at a comedy club.
He spoke to Reverend Jesse Jackson on the radio this morning. NBC5's Carla Ebo is live this morning at Operation Push with that story. Good morning, Carla.
Well, good morning. That radio program has just ended, and Michael Richards talked to the Reverend Jesse Jackson and to callers for about 2 hours. One of the callers was someone in the audience that day, and Michael Richards had a chance to apologize to him directly, and that person forgave him. You may remember Richards used racial slurs on the stage at a comedy club in Hollywood last week. He said he was angry at hecklers in the audience. Here is a portion of his apology on today's radio program.
There's no justification for the things that I said. But I was in show mode, and it was heightened, and at times I tried to turn it around, and I used the words I said in my act. The words, what's underneath the words, in a plea to get to the face rather than get so caught up with the names. I fear that young whites will think it's cool to go around and use that word because they see very cool people in show business using that word so freely.
Richards has said he is not a racist. He says he has a problem with rage, and he hopes people will understand. Reporting live outside Operation Push headquarters, I'm Carla Ebo, NBC5 News.
Carla, I know you're working this morning, and I don't know how much of the interview you actually were able to hear, but what was the tone from the callers who were speaking to Richards? Were they upset with him?
Actually, the majority of the callers were leaders like Reverend Jackson, and there was a psychologist as well as other comedians, so it wasn't really a chance for random people who are angry to call in. They all seem to have a connection with this case and therapy in general.
Okay, thanks, Carla.
Okay, we'll see how it turns out with the people who were listening. Thank you, Carla. In other news this morning, a driver crashes into a building, ends up running away, but he left 2 young children in the car to fend for themselves. Now, this happened at 55th Street in California. It was around 1 in the morning. 2 bystanders fortunately pulled the children out of the vehicle. They are now in good condition at Holy Cross, and police ended up catching the driver. They broke his leg. They say he broke his leg trying to run away, didn't get too far. He is in good condition. Charges are pending.
And New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg says it's too early to make any conclusions in the police-involved shooting that left a groom dead on his wedding day. Police shot the man and 2 of his friends as they were leaving a bachelor party. Jonathan Dienst has the details.
Police say the team of plainclothes officers fired 50 shots into the Nissan, killing the driver and wounding 2 passengers. The dead man, 23-year-old Sean Bell, a father of 2 small children, set to be married this weekend. The shooting happened around 4:14 in the morning as the 3 men left the strip club Kahlua along 94th Avenue and Liverpool Street after celebrating a bachelor party. Police say plainclothes officers began trailing the men after they allegedly made threats and confronted another man outside.
The undercover officer said that he heard the individual, later identified as Joseph Guzman, say, "Yo, go get my gun."
Police say one undercover followed them as they headed towards their Nissan, the undercover radioing back that he feared there might be a gun in the car. As backup arrived in unmarked vehicles, police say the men in the Nissan pulled out, striking the undercover officer and then smashing the car into a police van, and then backing onto the sidewalk, smashing into a door as the undercovers opened fire.
The driver put the car into forward and rammed the police minivan.
Clear if the undercover officers identified themselves as officers before firing the 50 shots, and the victims appear to have been unarmed. None of the officers had been involved in any previous shootings. In this case, the undercover hit by the car fired 11 times. 2 officers who jumped from a minivan, one a 12-year veteran, fired 31 times, reloading his weapon once. A 4-year veteran fired 3 times. 2 other officers fired a total of 5 times.
The 5 shooting officers, 2 were white, 1 was Hispanic, and 2 were black.
Police had been staking out the club because it has a history of problems involving drugs, prostitution, and guns, having been closed once for repeated violations. But in this case, no gun was found at the shooting scene. The groom-to-be, Sean Bell, was shot in the neck and arm and later died. Joseph Guzman was shot as many as 11 times and is in critical condition. Trent Benefield, seen here, was shot 3 times and is in stable condition. Sources say the 3 men do have past robbery and gun charges, although investigators say the officers involved had no way of knowing that.
It was Jonathan Dienst reporting. 9:06 now. Let's get a check on the roads. Big travel day. Arian DeSanto live this morning with the Traffic Edge. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I unfortunately have a 4-car accident to report on the Kennedy inbound at Armitage. Only 2 lanes get by right now, so expect delays. There is another accident at 91st and Cicero where a car ran into a house. Ambulance and police are on the scene at both accidents right now. And now, time for the final holiday driving tip for today. Prepare. Make sure to have your car looked at by a licensed mechanic before a long road trip. And it's also a good idea to check out the roads before you hit them. Try NBC5.com traffic link for up-to-date road conditions. And map out your trip before heading out. If you get directions online, though, or even have GPS, don't lose that map. You never know when you might actually use that old-fashioned thing. Kim, Anita, back to you.
Yeah, and don't try to go online while you're driving either, right?
No, that's not a good idea.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you. All right, travel safe, everyone. Coming up next, could the Supreme Court force the Bush administration to change course on global warming?
And when will our stretch of warm weather come to an end? NBC5 meteorologist Ginger Z has the forecast when we return.
This is the Mays family. Philip, Nancy, Jason, and Jennifer from Ramstein Air Base in Germany. I want to say happy holidays to our friends and family back in Freeport, Illinois. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Well, the bird flu is back in the U.S. news. Some 200,000 poultry are being slaughtered in South Korea in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. An outbreak of the H5N1 virus was discovered at a chicken farm last week, prompting the move. South Korea killed more than 5 million birds during the last known outbreak back in 2003.
The Supreme Court tackling the issue of global warming this week. The High Court will hear arguments in a case that could change the Bush administration's approach to global warming. Some states say the Environmental Protection Agency should regulate the amount of carbon dioxide that comes from vehicles. The EPA says it doesn't have the power to regulate the emission as a pollutant. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that many scientists believe is causing global warming.
Speaking of warm, I guess this is as warm as it's going to be.
Yeah, this is
well, I guess it's going to warm up.
Yeah,
and then
it'll be about 60 through the beginning of the work week, but then things really start to change. We're going to see a big change in our weather toward the end of the work week. You'll see that in the Weather Plus 5-day forecast when temperatures drop 20 to 25 degrees from what we've been seeing. But let's not even think about that yet. Let's take a live look first over a hazy shot of the city. And you will see hazy, partly to mostly cloudy skies today. Some fog still being a problem out there. The visibility is reduced. If you are headed out, maybe driving north and west of the city, this is the latest I've got in the way of visibility. So still down to a mile near Waukegan, but as you go south and southeast of the city, starts to get a little bit clearer. Something to keep in mind, of course, as you're headed out, maybe driving on this travel day. I cannot promise you good traffic, but definitely a decent one in the weather department, so you won't run into any of those major storms or a lot of rain or snow. So very lucky for us here this November day. 48 Aurora right now, 50 O'Hare. Midway is 53. Along the lakefront, might be a little bit breezy. Today we're going to pick up a south to southwesterly wind and become breezier as we head through the rest of our work week. Looking for that south to southwesterly flow also to usher in more of the clouds through the day today. We'll call it partly to mostly cloudy depending on where you're at. And this is why this is all happening to us. The Stormcast is going to show you some moisture that is building to our north. And look at that, Sunday at 6 p.m. So today at 6, we have the clouds in place, but not the rain yet. That comes tonight into early Monday. Then we get a better shot of rain into early Tuesday. So our forecast today stays dry, 59, mostly cloudy in many spots, partly cloudy in others, mild, hazy even. The Weather Plus 5-day forecast showing you the temperatures staying very mild and 15 or so, maybe even 20 degrees above average for this time of year, but we get stormy and rather crazy toward the midweek. 60 on Wednesday, high of 34 on Thursday. Like I said, the coldest air of the season Friday morning. Make it feel like it's in the single digits. How about that?
But it's always so hard when it's so nice and then it turns so cold.
I know, and it's going to happen quick, so be ready.
All right.
Thanks, Ginger.
All right. Thanks, but no thanks, Ginger.
Right.
Hey, we have a lot more ahead here on NBC 5 on this Sunday morning.
Yes, City Desk gets next.
Coming up this morning on City Desk, it's the holiday shopping season, a huge test to see if Chicago's Loop will attract large crowds. We'll see just who is counting on a big holiday season.
Chicago's business district counting on the holiday shopping season for a large part of their bottom line. NBC 5 political reporter Marianne Ahern has this morning's City Desk.
Good morning. Welcome to City Desk. I'm Marianne Ahern. This morning, let's talk business and the holiday shopping season. How important are these next few weeks for the city of Chicago? Joining us today, the executive director of the Chicago Loop Alliance, representing 250 downtown businesses, Ty Tabing. Mr. Tabing, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So this is the big test for the new Macy's on State Street, and there have been some mixed reviews because, of course, folks have had a hard time saying goodbye to Marshall Fields, but it's not been for lack of trying on Macy's part. How closely will you be watching to see what those trends show from this weekend and the consumers, whether or not they've been at Macy's?
Well, we'll be watching the foot traffic as well as, of course, the holiday windows being one of the big traditions that Macy's has continued. I just walked by the State Street a few minutes ago, and it seems to be humming with activity. The great thing about State Street and the larger Loop area is it's really become a mixed-use destination. It's not an office corridor that closes up at the conclusion of the workday anymore. Instead, we have a vibrant college community, Millennium Park, people living downtown, a theater district that's never been more active. So it's really a diverse activity environment in a way that it wasn't previously.
Now, Macy's not only is the first year for them at this holiday season, but it's the last holiday season for the Carsons on State Street. Will that also bring folks who might want to say goodbye to Carsons?
I think so. I mean, you know, the reality of Berghoff's being downtown, there are so many traditions within the State Street corridor that I think the sense of nostalgia that people have for the traditions of shopping on State Street will really draw people in this year. Last chance to say goodbye to the Carsons on State Street, which will be closing March 1st of next year. And there's tremendous demand for new retailers to go into that space. And so it's going to be exciting to see how it all plays out.
Now let's explain, though, Berghoff's. We all thought Berghoff's had said goodbye, but apparently Berghoff's hasn't really said goodbye. It still is open downtown.
That's correct. Berghoff's is still open. It's been rebranded, but the sign out front and many other things remain that have been around for generations. So we're fortunate that Berghoff's does remain. It's just been tweaked a little bit.
And let's go back to Macy's, though. Folks, why has folks have such a hard time of welcoming Macy's to downtown Chicago?
Well, I think it's just change, and sometimes in Chicago, we get a little sensitive about things that seem too New York. But you know, I think that the fact that they are continuing with the Vera Wang designed Christmas tree that is there at the Walnut Room. The theme with the windows this year is Mary Poppins, so it's a real experience, and I think people will see that, and it will continue to grow and become more of a tradition going forward.
Frango mints, can you still get those Frango mints there at Macy's, or the old?
You certainly can, and not only that, you can now get Frango mint shampoo. That's a new addition this holiday season. So again, a good example of Macy's picking up some of the old traditions and making them more modern and relevant and interesting.
Tell us about some of the other events of being downtown and how much fun folks could have, whether you're at Daley Plaza or at Cloud Gate or Millennium Park.
Well, at Daley Plaza, the Chris Kendall Market, the European market, is up and running, and it's a real draw. You can purchase European items as well as European wine and other things on Daley Plaza. At the Bean at Millennium Park, there will be Christmas caroling every Friday evening, and of course the ice skating rink at Millennium Park. So it's a real destination, of course, and the theater district is bringing more people into the downtown area than ever before. So there are a lot of tie-ins. If you're going downtown to, excuse me, to see Wicked, there's reason to linger longer in the Loop in a way that there may not have been in the past.
And you know what else is lingering longer in the Loop are college students. Your first ever economic analysis earlier this month showed that there are some 53,000 college students in the Loop. That's a surprising number. How are you trying to bring businesses that might attract that college crowd?
Well, the interesting thing is the college community is really generating a new type of retail on State Street. It's a retail that is more catered to youth. And there's examples of H&M and Blick Art Store and Forever 21. You know, the retailers in this market are traditionally not taking much risk. And so now that we have all these great demographics in our area, and we can point to the fact that the Loop doesn't close up at the end of the workday, that people live downtown, there's the largest college population in the state of Illinois. You know, we have a lot of good answers to the retailers considering State Street. And so it's just making it easier to recruit more retailers onto the street. And with Block 37, Carson's, the Palmer House is being re-tenanted. There are real big opportunities for retailers to come into the street and enjoy the upward trends in the area.
So we might see perhaps a retailer that would come into the Carson's building that would be attractive to younger people. Would you see a Target, a grocery store, or something like that coming that way?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. There are several grocery stores that are looking at the Loop. The great thing about the Loop population is there's a tremendous amount of affluency that comes with the residents downtown. The average salary, the average income of Loop residents is about $120,000. So these people have purchasing power, and it's really beginning to impact the type of retail that you see in the area.
What about those who also work downtown? How do you achieve a balance into making sure that those who work downtown might be able to still sneak out at lunchtime, run an errand, get some lunch, perhaps buy something for Christmas, and not feel overcrowded by the holiday shoppers that, of course, you want as well?
Well, I think, you know, there are 600,000 people who work in the Loop every day. So these kind of balancing issues are things that we have to be cognizant of. I think people like excitement, people watching, density. Those are all the great things that we have in the Loop. And for the most part, people gravitate towards that. And we're starting to have more and more restaurants and bars in the area. So it's really becoming kind of a 24/7 destination in a way that it wasn't in the past.
Well, very good. We appreciate your time so much, Mr. Ty Tabing with the Greater Loop Alliance. Thank you for your thoughts. And also to all of you watching this edition of City Desk, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Let's get a final check on some of the stories making headlines this morning.
2 children were left in a vehicle after a driver ran it into a building and then tried to run away. But he broke his leg and didn't get very far before he was nabbed by police. It happened around 1 o'clock in the morning at 55th in California. The good news is, though, that the children are in good condition.
Michael Richards, known as Kramer from Seinfeld, on Reverend Jesse Jackson's radio show this morning. Richards ended up apologizing for his racist rant at a comedy club in Los Angeles.
And travelers returning from their Thanksgiving holiday are expected to jam the tollways again. This year's holiday traffic was unusually high, resulting in long backups at the cash-only lanes. Of course, if you're headed out to O'Hare, you should know that all of the westbound traffic on I-90 from the airport is being rerouted to help ease the congestion.
Yeah, look at the travel forecast from Ginger in a second. But first, Tim Russert joins us from Washington with a preview of this morning's Meet the Press.
Good morning, Kim and Anita. Coming up on Meet the Press, 1 year ago, his approval rating was just 32%. And yet 2 weeks ago, a huge landslide re-election. What happened? And what lessons can the Republicans and politicians learn from the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's our guest. Then Iraq. Insiders at the Pentagon say we can go big, go long, or go home. We'll talk to the chairman and ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee and 2 former retired generals about Iraq, all coming up right here on Meet the Press.
Before we go, though, we got to check in with Ginger Z. A busy holiday travel day.
It is.
Looks pretty good so far.
It's not bad. It's mild. If you are traveling today, the only obstacle, some fog early this morning. We should stay dry through a majority of our Sunday. Much of the country has a great travel day, aside from the Northwest. Then, though, we see a windy Tuesday, a changing Wednesday. And then by Thursday and Friday, cold weather is settled in. A little rain mixing with snow. What a mess by the end of the week.
What a mess.
Take advantage of it. Put off those decorations like you were saying now.
Do it now. Hey, we just want to say, Pat Lake, our director, he hasn't been with us for a couple of weeks. We hope that he gets well. In fact, Dr. Malloy says he's doing well and he'll be back next week. But we miss you, Pat.
Yeah, Pat. All right. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
Enjoy your day.